Kafka's The Trial is about a 30-year-old unmarried chief clerk of a bank named Joseph K. upon his unexpected arrest for reasons unbeknownst to him and the reader. It follows him in his efforts for acquittal against a system of corrupt and bribable subordinates at the bottom and mysterious judges, chiefs, and lawyers at the top, of whom K never gets to meet. His efforts go to waste, as the system eventually concludes, despite his pleas and without a fair trial, that he is guilty. The story ends with his execution by two men in black. The Trial, or Der Prozess, was written in 1914 in Prague, Czechoslovakia. In this environment, Kafka was often faced with the inherent feeling of being an outsider. Tension was high after the emancipation of Jews. The majority of people spoke Czech. His parents had never introduced him to Judaism, and they did not support his passion for writing. Kafka would later grow up to identify as an atheist socialist, which reflects in his pieces like Metamorphosis, a story about a man slowly turning into a giant cockroach, but mostly worrying about whether he'd get to work. Raised in a capitalist environment that prioritized financial gain, it's not difficult to understand the influences behind Kafka's work. This leads me to my thesis. Hamlet by Shakespeare and The Trial by Franz Kafka both portray the upper class's capacity for manipulation, using misinformation and subliminal messaging, from the perspectives of the powerful, Hamlet, and the powerless, The Trial. As a story about the powerful feudal royalty of Denmark, we see a common theme of manipulation, lies, and secrets in order to gain or keep power. In the next clip, Hamlet meets the ghost of his father. On a mission to avenge his father's murder, Hamlet plots to fool people into believing he's crazy in order to hide his true motives. He has Horatio and Marcellus swear secrecy about this plan. Turn on captions for a modern translation.
Propose the oath, my lord! Never to speak of this that you have seen swear by my sword! Hic et ubique, here as before! Never, so help you mercy, how strange or odd some'er I bear myself, as I perchance hereafter shall think meet to put an antic disposition on, that you at such times, seeing me, never shall with arms encumbered thus, or with this headshake, or by pronouncing of some doubtful phrase, as well we know, or we could, and if we could, or if we list to speak, or there be, and if they might, or such ambiguous giving out to note that you know aught of me, this not to do, swear!
The powerful main characters in Hamlet are easily able to have their subjects swear loyalty to them. With these subjects, propaganda and misinformation spread quickly, creating conflict between the people, and those in charge benefit from that conflict. With this ability, Hamlet is able to fool those around him in order to enact his plan. Kay faces the same thing from the other side. As the oppressed, he is unable to trust what is being directly shown to him. During his first and last hearing, he stands in front of a mysterious jury that he attempts to win over, and an examining magistrate that knows almost nothing about his case. After being under the impression that he is winning this case, he soon comes to the realization that the jury is working with the examining magistrate, and that he has been controlling them.
Had he overestimated the effect of his speech? Had they been pretending all the time he was speaking, and now that he had reached his conclusions, were they fed up with pretending? Badges of various sizes and colors shimmered on the collars of their jackets. They all had badges, as far as he could see. And as he suddenly turned, he saw the same badges on the collar of the examining magistrate, who was looking on calmly with his hands in his lap.
Society, as this novel attests, is secretly ruled by an autocratic hierarchy that is kept hidden from the working class. Kay is initially fed lies about the fairness of his trial, but later it becomes demonstrable that there is foul play at hand. Similarly, a capitalistic, democratic government creates leeway for the exploitation of the working class by the bourgeoisie, while a message of freedom and autonomy is being propagated to the masses. The difference between these two stories is that one takes place in a feudal society, in which all people directly serve the king and must pledge allegiance to him through any conditions, while the government in The Trial, being a democratic capitalist society, must feign decency in the public eye, and is much more covert about their control, or should I say, subliminal? Thanks, man. Cheers. Oh, that's good. When direct lies fail, subliminal messages are the next best option. Whether it's Captain Crunch secretly glorifying the military, or basically all of media profiting off of our insecurities, hidden messages are in our daily lives, influencing us. Hamlet attempts to promote an idea to the masses about the king and queen's misdeeds without explicitly stating his distaste. As he says, he must hold his tongue, so this plot of subliminalism is his second option.
Now these people claimed that according to your lips, you were certain to be convicted. Soon, my lips? asked Kay, taking out a pocket mirror and regarding his face. I can't see anything unusual about my lips. Can you? Neither can I, said the merchant. Absolutely nothing at all.
This quote explains a lot about who the law chooses to convict, and how these rumors must have made their way into the demographic of the convicted. It seems Kay is treated as a guilty man and trusted by none since the beginning of his conviction. At first glance, he is a guilty man, and from then till death he stays a guilty man. My theory is this. Kay's immediate guilt is a symbol of modern racism and how it's used to control classes and maintain the power structures. By spreading subliminal fear-inducing stereotypes, splitting the people into groups that fear each other, the powerful maintain control. Developing critical thinking in the modern age is getting more difficult. With an influx of information and misinformation, we are indoctrinated from a very young age into certain ways of thinking. We see how this has affected Kay, who is bombarded with false bureaucracy. We see how this way of life has negatively affected even Hamlet, who slowly drives himself insane and can't even trust himself. In a world where we're all easily controlled by money, there are sponsorships, subliminal messages in Hollywood. Us consumers can easily be fed lies about our society. Modern media and our access to information is a blessing and a curse. And while screens are not the source of all evil, it is imperative to approach the information you are faced with a critical mind. No, I gotta do that again.